What is going on, everybody? Listen, I am super excited to be here today. Um, we are doing something really special, and if you're tapping in and you know what time it is, then you know what time it is. But if you don't, we're about to tell you. Listen, me and a partner of mine, a good friend of mine, one of my mentors actually decided that, hey, let's come together and let's teach people the things that we've been doing with our personal brand and so how we can grow it. Right now, if you're in real estate, everybody's talking about fear, the banking, everything's collapsing. But the thing that is not collapsing is you and your personal brand. And recently, I was able to use my personal brand and leverage it to be able to get a whole new opportunity, a whole new contract for my company. And it's really exciting. But I would not have been able to do that without my good friend, leader, mentor, Mr. Josh.
Hey,
Josh,
hey,
to the show, man. How are you doing today?
better than ever, man. Thank you for having me. How you making out?
Man, I'm super excited. I'm super excited for what we're about to talk about today. And just giving the people some, visibility plus credibility equals profitability. And
Yes,
Josh, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do for the people that are watching and don't know you?
of course. My name's Josh Buchter. I'm the owner publisher of Philadelphia and Bucks County Real Producers Magazine, as well as Wolf of Broad Street Real Estate Events LLC. So I got a background in the Philly real estate industry since 2010 after graduating from college, and background in business development, marketing, and sales, and different aspects of the real estate industry. I never sold houses. I've done apartment listings and property management. I was licensed at one time and did that for a few years, along with other things like credit repair and title insurance. And I started the events business in 2016 and been growing from there, just digging deep here in the Philly real estate industry.
Sheesh. Now, man, Josh. So real quick, right? Real quick, before we even get into it, can you tell us a little bit about the business model of real producers, who your target audience is? Because I think the one thing that's important is for anyone that's watching this today to understand that there is a target audience for you, and that's what you do. You have a real specific people group that you market to, correct?
Of course, yeah. Real Producers is a franchise. We're in 110 markets across the country right now. My partner Bethany and I are the franchise owners of Philadelphia Real Producers and Bucks County Real Producers. But the business model works the same across the country. We're all about connecting, elevating, and inspiring our readership and our partners. The readership of our magazine is the top 500 plus realtors in the greater Philadelphia region based on their total volume production reported to Bright MLS. As well as anybody, there's tens of thousands of licensed real estate salespeople in this area, but we cater to the top of the best of the best, the top 500 in Philly, the top 300 in Bucks, and that is a valuable asset for the 70 plus preferred partners that we have who advertise with us. They're looking to build relationships with top realtors, and we facilitate that through a monthly magazine and quarterly events. And everything we do for real estate agents is complimentary and made possible by our partners. They don't pay to be featured in Real Producers Magazine, or they don't pay to get a copy or to come to most of the events. It's all made possible by our partners, and we just have fun with it. I don't need a big national reach personally. Real Producers is doing that for us, but we're just happy to be getting busy and being successful here in Philly.
Man, and I know that. And last year, I was actually featured as a rising star, and that's kind of how we connected. And
Yep.
like my whole thought process was even before I met you, I first thing I did was seeing who you were on social, started going through some of your content, and I was like, man, this guy, man, he's out there. He's doing a lot of things I want to do, and from there, it's like we just hit it off, and it's just been a collaboration. Many events later,
Mm-hmm.
many introductions later, and that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
where I learned about how important the introduction is, and
Mm.
you know when you know Josh and you start meeting the inner circle and you're a friend of Josh, man, you get treated well, man. You get treated well. So I appreciate you, Josh. And as a
Of
part of
course.
like my new job description and kind of what I'm doing is not only just content creation and like social media, because that stuff, that stuff isn't really important if we're not equipped, right? If we're not
Mm-hmm.
equipped on how to do it, how to grow it, and that's why we're here for 6 weeks, y'all. 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Visibility
Yep.
plus credibility equals profitability, and this can be your guide to social media growth, leads, and even building a profitable personal brand. So, Josh,
Definitely.
seriously, man, thanks for coming on today. Um,
Thank you.
I would like to
And
know
thanks social media. If it wasn't for social media, we may not be here today. So
that that's a
it's a
fact. That's
testament.
a fact. If And that's crazy when you think about it, man. Like if it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't for social, me and you probably wouldn't be tapped in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When
Exactly.
did you first start building your personal brand, Josh?
I mean, I think everybody has a personal brand. Everybody is their own person and everybody is unique. So we all have our own unique brands that we subconsciously been building since day one, honestly, from our backgrounds to our story, to our families, to our past jobs and all the relationships that led us to where we are today. So, it's been a growing experience and, formally 2006, around 2016, put together the Wolf of Broad Street brand and just started as a simple Instagram handle. You know what I mean? People will get overwhelmed with the word brand and what brand is and branding. And, you know, you got to really like give yourself permission to not be perfect when it comes to your brand. It's a learning experience. We're all trying to figure it out and we're constantly evolving our brand. So it's not about having the perfect logo or the perfect website or the perfect, you know, wardrobe. You just got to grow on what you can start with, and take it one step at a time.
Nice. And like I know for me, right, it was exactly what you just said, right? Like it's been in me for a while, like this personal
Mm-hmm.
brand. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so even with content creating realtor, like I get it all the time, like that's too long. And it's like, yeah, I know it's
Mm-hmm.
too long. It is, but I'm the first, like I'm the first search content and I'll pop up. And I did that intentionally. But
I think it's genius. I think it's genius, man. There's millions of real estate agents across the country, and just to be able to be called the content creating realtor is automatically, builds credibility and brand awareness. And you know as much as I do as when you meet people out, oh, you're the content creating realtor. Oh, you're the Wolf of Broad Street. You
yeah.
need that. And mine's just as long as yours, so whatever.
Yeah, no, it's true. Now,
Yeah.
what would you suggest for realtors, right? Because my wife, shout out to her, shout out to Cynthia, is
Shout
her
out
last.
Cynthia.
Yeah, man. And even that, right? Like you met my wife. You and Beth met my
Mm-hmm.
wife. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
um, I appreciate y'all for that. And she got her first taste of like
Mm-hmm.
what I was doing when we had our photo shoot, right? Now,
Yep.
now, last week of real estate school, let's get it, right? And
Amazing.
now, like last week, we had a class full of students from the real estate school next door, and they all like had a bunch of questions. And the people that are watching this are probably watching this because they don't know, what to do next. It's like
Mm-hmm.
social media, all this stuff. But what would you suggest for a realtor? They just became a realtor. How can they start building their personal brand? Because the thing I come into a lot, Josh, is like people think that when they become a realtor that they need to now put out realtor content. And that
Right.
really that it doesn't really make much sense because if you already have an Instagram, you already have a personal brand, and people really
Mm-hmm.
don't understand that concept. So I know I asked you like kind of a two-part thing. The first thing is what content to start creating as a real estate agent. And the second one I'm gonna give you is, do you think if somebody has an audience of let's say 10,000 and then they become a realtor, um, do you think they should start a whole new page or should they build upon that 10K?
I would build upon the 10K and do it organically, build off your base. And just because you're licensed does not mean you'll be a successful real estate agent. The hard truth is that it's not exactly, difficult to become a real estate agent. You take the courses, you take the test, you pass it. No matter how many times it takes to pass it, you get licensed. But that's just the beginning. the branding, the social media, you got to understand that it's your job now. It's your job to be present and top of mind with your sphere of influence. There's 8 billion people in the world, so you don't want to box yourself into just the people you already know. Sometimes your biggest allies and advocates will be strangers. So the sooner you realize that social media is a non-negotiable, you're going to need that to be successful, the better. You know what I mean? And finding ways to consistently add value and be likable and build relationships through social media is going to get you far. You don't need to talk about real estate all the time. You know, you want to give people a little insight into yourself. You want to be humble. You know, you want to be vulnerable. At the end of the day, you want to educate your clients and your followers as much as possible, you know, in an educational and an entertaining way.
No, and that's good. That's really good. Um, I wanted to share a story about, because we just talked about, like, if it wasn't for social, we would have never met. And tomorrow,
Mm,
I have a really exciting interview with a mindset coach, actually working with professionals, NBA, like in the big leagues, like people from the NBA, the NFL,
mm,
tennis, and even how I got connected with him was through a business partner of mine with an e-commerce store, Protect Your Peace, and we met online, and it's just like so beautiful how you can meet people, and then, like, if they align, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Then you
mm.
begin to build, and then now you have business relationships, with people that, and I know, as well as you have a team, right? Over, like,
Hmm.
a team overseas as well.
Yeah, we got a team of about 12 independent contractors, from social media managers to virtual assistants and content coordinators, photographers, writers, and some are local to Philly, but a lot of them are abroad.
Man, 14, bro.
Yeah, about 12 to 14. Yeah,
Gee.
but there was a time I was doing it all on my own. Three years ago. We went to print with Philly Real Producers May 2019, and I remember that first edition of the magazine. I wrote all the articles, like I did everything.
Gee.
Just to, I don't know, get your hands dirty and just do it once so you know how it's got to be done moving forward. And I talk to you about this all the time. It's just like automate, delegate, and regulate. You know, automate the systems and processes, delegate them to the right people, and regulate that. You know what I mean? So I do a lot of social media on the creative side on my own, but there is a full-time social media manager, Dave Dessou, out of New Orleans. We've been working together for years now, and we're in the magazine business. It's a monthly magazine, monthly deadline. It's a content creating machine, so we're never running out of content. But instead of me sitting there posting every story, every article, every behind the scenes and all this stuff, we have David to do that, and then I kind of just spice it up and give my own twang along the way.
Man. Jeez.
Virtual, a virtual assistant can change the game for a lot of business owners. It's something that people think about, but they don't ever, maybe don't pull the trigger or take too long to do it. But, just trying to, duplicate your efforts. You can't do it all on your own. And you're not just a real estate agent, you're a business owner. You know what I mean? So you got to treat it like a business. And your social media profiles is basically your storefront. And if your storefront looks like it's closed and there's nothing going on, you're not going to get no business. And the algorithms are crazy. You got to work with the algorithms. You got to stay active. You got to stay busy, because you take the foot off the gas for a few days or a week, you watch your reach go down. Maybe not directly with your followers, but you're not reaching as many people as you should. So you got to keep your foot on the gas at all times. And if it's not you, it's got to be somebody on your team that's backing you up.
Jeez. And we actually just we dropped a couple of videos, like, about virtual assistants as well. And
Mm-hmm.
what suggestion would you give to a realtor looking to get a virtual assistant? Because I think there's a lot of stuff within all of that as well. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, like, what I ran into was my first couple times with trying out virtual assistants, it was because I didn't really have the task to delegate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you suggest for a real estate agent that's, because this, what I'm understanding too is, like, some of our audience might not even know what that is yet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So how can they
Mhm.
start to prepare of like when do you think someone would need a virtual assistant?
I would start by like itemizing the things you do day in, day out. Everything that comes across your desk, every call, every task that comes up, you say, do I have to do this, or can I delegate this? And if I delegate this, what are the instructions for that? Okay, let me write this out, because if I got to do it, more than two times, I'm going to write it down so that it becomes a process that could be duplicatable. And you might not, like, you had to go through a few VAs before you found the right one. Making the processes as duplicatable as possible is going to save you a lot of time, and you could just easily pass on that little manual or those instructions to the next one until you find the right fit. Virtual assistants can be hit or miss. I would suggest finding, a resource that's not a one man or not a one woman show. That is more of a project manager that can be your point person for all of your tasks. VAs can do everything from database management and building up your CRMs and helping you with newsletters to video editing to graphic design, and just everything that you don't want to do, you can't do, you don't have time to do, can be delegated to a capable VA, which is only going to allow you to focus on income producing activities. So if it's not income producing activity, then you can delegate that.
So, for instance, this would be an income producing activity because it could
Mm-hmm.
potentially generate us leads and grow our brand, correct? So,
Exactly. I mean,
the task for this would be exactly what Myra is going to be doing and repurposing this
mm-hmm.
content. So, yeah,
So,
and even like a lot of the different softwares they have now, like video, like yes, video is scary and it could be hard, but there's so much technology out there, so many resources, and just so much stuff that could help you increase your content output. Um,
and every day is content day, right? That's what she said.
Man, look, there ain't a
So
day that
that's
goes
another important
by
thing.
without it being content day. Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Sheesh. Can you tell us a little bit about unique value proposition and brand identity?
It's really just about being yourself and providing insights, telling stories, promoting others. And these are all things that don't cost you a dime. You know, I got some partners that spend $7,000 a month on Google and SEO, and that's like a huge, expense, but the ROI is there. Our ROI and your ROI should always be relationships, you know. Building relationships through your social media, through your brand, through your network is going to pay off tenfold in the long run. And it's not going to happen overnight. So you got to be prepared to deal with some slow times and deal with a lot of, you know, hurdles and struggles, but staying consistent, planting the seeds, taking care of your people, adding value and lifting up others. Like I say all the time, I don't do this for me, I do this for y'all. And it always comes back to me, when people say, how do you do that? How do you like feature all these people in your magazine for free? And why do you do all this? But the stories that I get back are really fulfilling of the dots that I've connected over the years, and what that's turned into. And it's a legacy thing for me. I want these videos to live long after I'm gone, and same thing with all these magazines and everything. So these are going to be here, and it's my mission in life is to do this stuff. So it's not, I'm not Mother Teresa or a saint or anything like that. It's just I found, what I like doing, my little lane here, and, having fun making a living off of it, and the freedom, just like we're all entrepreneurs, we're all business owners, real estate agents, take advantage of that, and don't sleep on the fact that you're your own boss and you make your own schedule and you call the shots. But it's a big responsibility. There's that line out there about we traded in a 40-hour week to work 100 hours a week, but on our own terms.
Yep.
And so it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? There's plenty of W-2 jobs out there. You'll be very successful. I got friends that are climbing the corporate ladder. I couldn't be more happy for them that way. But it's just like a unique lifestyle. You can kind of engineer your own lifestyle. So when I wasn't making any money and I was still on social media and I was still going to appointments, trying to figure out how I'm going to pay for this bill or pay for this, lunch, and just trying to get gas to get to places. Like, you're going to go through those times in the beginning. You don't ever want to let people see you sweat, but in the back of
Ah,
your mind, you got to tell yourself, like,
jeez.
that freedom is worth something. If you trick your mind into saying that's worth 30 racks a year by itself, you start to get comfortable with the fact that you're going to figure it out. You're going to continue to get bigger and bigger checks, and close bigger deals, and it's not for the weak-hearted.
Man, like as you were just saying that, bro, it's like, I appreciate you, bro. For everybody to
Mhm.
see it, like, I appreciate you. And this is what, like,
Likewise.
relationships are all about because, like, for me, I feel like, man, finally, at least I can breathe as far as, like, for anybody that thinks uh, I gave up entrepreneurship for a 9 to 5, they're sadly mistaken, right? And that's the important thing about, building a business and building and structuring it the right way because, um, yes, now I'm salary for the brokerage that I'm a part of that I hang my real estate license with. But that's a contract to my company, Just Bless Media. And like I remember like you just said, yeah, you'll go through those things, right? And I just was having
Mhm.
flashbacks of when I was going through those things, as well
Mhm.
as the words that you gave me, like
Mhm.
never let them see you sweat. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
Man, bro, like,
Mhm.
geez. What would you suggest to somebody right now that like like when you're going through that, you don't really feel like there's a way out, right? So
Mhm.
what would you say to the person that, like, they're right there, they're right there, and they may not feel like it's worth it to continue?
Nipsey Hussle said it best when he said, "You're closer to where you're going than from where you started at." You know what I mean? So if you look at yourself on a timeline and you've been putting in this work consistently, and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, it doesn't make any sense to stop and turn back now. Even if you're like 40, 50% of the way there, just keep going, keep pushing forward, do what you got to do to get by, and you know have get your hustle on. You might need to have multiple hustles to maintain. I was juggling three, four jobs when I first started the magazine, and now this is my sole gig. But it wasn't always like that. So when one thing slows down, another thing may pick up, and you gotta get after it. I don't look down upon real estate agents that have a second job or a side hustle or anything like that. You gotta do what you gotta do because it's not easy out here, to be successful. The lucky thing about my platform is that these top agents in our distribution list have been through market downturns and recessions and bad economies and low inventory and high interest rates before, and they made it through that and came up on top. So leaning on your peers, look at what your competition is doing, quote unquote competition, and learn from them and lean on them and find a mentor, find a coach, and just
And
figure
you
it
know
out.
what
We're
we
all
say
That's all we
about
do.
competition, right? Collaboration over competition. And
That's it.
that's what's so special about me and your relationship is like, um we'd rather collab than compete because
Mm-hmm.
it makes more sense to collaborate. It makes more sense. And we're gonna get into this in the series, but like the one thing that people didn't understand what I was doing when collaborating with you was I was trying to get in front of your audience,
Mm-hmm.
and what would you say, like, and you already did say it, right, talking about adding value, but even that the gems within like our relationship was like i never I never wanted to do anything other than add value to
Mm-hmm.
you and what you were doing, right? And a lot of
Totally,
times
100%.
people don't understand how to add value. What would you say
Mm-hmm.
to that realtor that they're trying to build relationships but they don't know how to build valuable relationships?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sweat equity goes a long way, and using your head and getting creative and tapping into other people's networks without asking for anything necessarily, but by adding value. I see realtors going on their top 5, top 10 breweries in Fishtown, or their favorite cheesesteaks, or like, favorite boutiques. Like, you could literally get a list of 5 or 10 things in different categories, go shoot a reel about this at every one of those businesses with tens or hundreds of thousands of people or millions of followers, and don't be surprised if they reshare your stuff, or they follow you back, or they thank you for this type of stuff that didn't really cost you anything. You got to use your head. You got to get in your car. You got to get dressed. You got to go do these things. You got to take the time to put the reel together, but it's all doable, and it takes zero budget basically.
Man.
You know, and there's so many different categories. It's not just cheesesteaks and boutiques or anything like that. You could we're a meds and ed city. You could go highlight different colleges. You could go highlight different hospitals, different things we're known about. Maybe you think about you know I'm about to do one with Bethany, and we're going to go show like our top 10 places for a meal under $15 in Philly. We have a lot of like little gems that people may have never heard of. But when you start talking about saving people money, putting them on to cool things, hyper local to Philadelphia, you start to be kind of like their guide for this type of stuff. And it's not, are you ready to buy, sell, rent, invest in real estate on every single piece of media that you put out there? You gotta,
Let's talk about that real quick, right?
yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about that, right? And that's what I think real estate agents do not understand is that it's like that has to be a part of it. And like what I tell my clients
Definitely.
that I work with, it's and right. Like,
Hmm.
oh, I don't want carousel, I want video. No, it's and
Hmm.
video. And it's
Right.
like, oh, I don't want to, post about, you know, real estate every day. Then don't
Hmm.
post about
Hmm.
other things that you like. Be a human,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and just the fact that like we can add value through our content, and that
Hmm.
alone will be the determining factor for when you meet somebody and they want to do business with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if let's put it like this, right? If you're creating content that's not valuable, who is it for then? If
Hmm.
you are a
Hmm.
real estate agent and your prospective client is looking to invest, buy, or sell, yeah, don't be so crazy about I'm gonna post every day informational, educational content, but you put it out as a lead magnet for people to be attracted to, and then they
Hmm.
follow you, and then that's when the real fun begins. And then like
Yeah.
right now we're live streaming on YouTube, and even our plan and strategy with this stream right here is it gets live stream, it's out. That's engagement. It's up, right? After that, then we can repurpose it for Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and then even as well as YouTube, because YouTube is search engine friendly, right?
Hmm.
Google owns
Hmm.
YouTube, so they run off like the same system, and yeah, as well as all the other platforms as well, Facebook, LinkedIn. But and here was my suggestion to a realtor not too long ago. I said, if you're gonna focus on creating content, pick a pick a platform. Let's say YouTube. Focus
Hmm.
on creating long form content. And then it's like,
Hmm.
oh, I don't feel comfortable on camera. I don't, you know, have a conversation with somebody that you really vibe with and align with.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
after that, you'll never run out. Josh, will me and you ever run out of content again?
Never. Never.
Yo, we got so
Amen.
much content we don't even know what to do with it. Um,
And there has to be a call to action, obviously. It doesn't always have to be buy, sell, invest type of thing, but it could be click the link in my bio. I love that, because you got a Husky, link system, and you always steer people to, schedule a discovery call with you, register for your next home buying seminar, register for the next broker open, credit workshop, webinar. Always have something to promote and talk about. I people look at me like I'm a club promoter sometimes, how hard I push real estate events. Years ago, I used to go around with stacks of club flyers, and it would be the easiest way to get past the gatekeeper at offices when I was trying to like earn their business for the different stuff I was doing. If you're always have something to talk about, it's never same old, nothing new. It's not, I got this coming up, that coming up. You're invited. It's free. Don't keep it a secret. You know, tell everybody and their mom about it. And it's a data capturing marketing campaign as well, because the more free events you do, the more registrations you're going to get, the bigger your database is going to get, and you just document everything along the way, before, during, and after these events and marketing campaigns. Let the people see you work. It's you're putting in the work anyway. What you do is interesting. You're not digging ditches or washing dishes or pumping gas. You got a pretty cool job being an entrepreneur, being a real estate agent, meeting all these people and clients. You know, let the people see what you're up to. Give them some insights on how your day is going, what obstacles you're facing, what wins you've had, what losses you've had, and just hit that record button.
Man, they getting some heat today, man. I'm really excited
You
for you.
told me you said give the people the heat today, so we're here.
And man, even like even the value within like and this is the thing about finding collaborators, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have the plan right away. And honestly, sometimes I think if it's over planned and it's too much,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't
Yeah,
really leave room for anything organic, right? But me and you,
exactly.
we've had a recurring Monday call now for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Totally.
it's been so valuable that like that content that that was for us, that was for me when I
Mm-hmm.
was I needed some extra help or whatever. But it's about being able to optimize your time, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, we meet on Mondays anyway. Let's just turn it
Mm-hmm.
into a content day, right? And
Totally.
be able to provide value, grow our channels, our audiences. And yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming on today. And I know
My
we
pleasure.
have a lot of things cooking, and I want to be respectful of your time. Can you give me some closing thoughts, Josh?
Follow the people that are already doing what you want to do. Learn from them. Learn from the Ryan Serhants of the world, the $1 million listers. Why do they have $1.7 million? 1.7 million followers. It's, sure, they might have, a Bravo show and things like that, but there's a reason that they can do it. You can do it. We all have, our own uniqueness and abilities, and everybody's different. So you have a brand and you don't even know it. Just embrace it, and no steps backwards. One foot in front of the other. Even if you don't take any steps forward that day, as long as you're not taking any steps backwards, it's a good day. You got to stay consistent out here. Consistency will always win.
Yeah, got to stay moving, got to stay moving, got to
Mm-hmm.
stay active. That's why,
Yep.
man, like, work always works, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's those type of texts, man, that took me a long way, man. So I'm just so grateful for our friendship, our,
Likewise.
our partnership, our collaborations. Um, how can
Me too.
people get a hold of you, Josh?
All over social media, Josh Buchter, Buchter, at Wolf of Broad Street, with underscores in between each word. Happy to, help and put you on my subscriber list if you want to know about the next, event, or, always open to different types of collaborations and features and things like that.
And another reason why we wanted to kind of use this as a platform was the thing you just touched on. Like, we got a lot of things going on always, so this is another opportunity for us to promote upcoming events and webinars. And I do want to see what's on your calendar for the people, because I know this Friday we have a webinar. Me and Alicia Herrera from the Surefire group.
Cool.
Let's get real. Let's get
Nice.
real. So I'm
I love it.
personally going to be on there teaching people my 4-step content creation process when it comes to Reels, and to be able to literally share my screen, show you guys how I do it. I have a presentation. But for me, it's most of all like I would just love to be able to get anybody that has any questions, anybody that has any concerns when it comes to creating content, specifically to social media Reels. What do you got coming up,
That's awesome.
Josh?
Wednesday, March 29th, we're hosting a Women's History Month breakout networking event. It's pretty cool. It's unique. It's powerful. It's a 12:30 start time at Penn's Treaty Co-working, 1516 North Fifth Street. It's a free event. We have some amazing speakers lined up for 1 p.m. followed by a breakout where you will have the opportunity to bounce around 8 different rooms with 8 different breakout ambassadors highlighting a different woman in history, and then opening that up to a dialogue. So it's going to be hopping from room to room, meeting all different types of people, not just women, here in Philly in the real
Okay,
estate
so
industry and abroad.
it's not just
Yeah.
women.
No, no, I mean all the influential people in history who we'll be talking about will be women, but the attendees, it's open to anybody
Oh snap!
in
All right, all
celebration of
right,
Women's History Month. Yeah.
all right. I didn't want to intrude. You know what I mean? I wanted to send wifey over there,
No,
but I ain't want to get. You know,
come through.
you already know
Come
that's
through.
the move. I'm definitely gonna
It's the
yeah, I'm gonna bring
it's the
wifey through.
season opener for the please. It's followed by a little happy hour on the roof deck. It'll be it's first day of spring today. They'll be opening up the roof deck. We'll have some cocktails and stuff. So yep, the more media, the merrier. You know that.
Listen, you already know, and yeah, that's the beautiful thing about being able to be on one of these lives, right? Is like you said it right. It's so important to always have call to actions to send people to.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
man,
Exactly.
we had this opportunity. Normally, we would be on Zoom, coaching,
Mm-hmm.
brainstorming, tossing ideas back and forth. But today, we just set it into action, and let's see what the future may hold. Man, this is gonna probably be in high demand, I'm sure, because people are already tapped in. But if you're not tapped in and you're like, hey, this was pretty cool, go follow us on Instagram. Content Creating Realtor. Spelled just like that. Content Creating Realtor. And check out my man, Josh Buchter, the Wolf of Broad Street. And as well, check out the magazine, Philadelphia Real Producers, as well as
Yeah,
Bucks County Real Producers. And if you're still tapping in
exactly.
and you're a real estate agent, I want you to go check out Remax Affiliates, home of the lowest cap, highest split, being able to give you more money than most, right? And that's not just it, though. We have so many resources tailored to the agent that wants to build their personal brand. Everything we were just talking about, this is the place to do it. Our broker, Joe McCabe, he's building his personal brand, and he just really wants all of his agents to be on social. So listen, man, this is a collaboration between we are on the network, y'all. And we got Philly Real Producers in the house, Just Bless Media. And that's it, folks. It's a wrap. We'll see you next Monday at 2:30.